Hey guys, how are you all doing? So let's make this beautiful fitted knee flace skirt. Now come with me. So first things first, I am going to be cutting my half cut. So I'm going to be minusing 2 inches for my waistband measurement. Then I'll be using 18 inches, which is going to be the length from my waist to my knee. Meanwhile, you can use less than 18 inches or more than 18 inches. It all depends on the height of your client. So I minus 2 inches for my waistband and I got 10 inches, which happens to be the distance from my waist to my hip. And then I marked out my waist. I divided my waist measurement by 4 and then I added 2 inches seam allowance to it. I also divided my hips by 4 and I added 2 inches seam allowance to it. Now, to get my perfect knee, as you can see in the picture, the knee is very tight. And then my client told me that she doesn't want her knee to be that tight. So in order to get a perfect knee measurement for her, I am going to be dividing my hip measurement by 4 without adding any allowance to it. So after dividing my hip, that is 36 inches by 4, I got 9 inches and I did not add any allowance to it. So I marked out my 9 inches. I connected it down to my hip measurement, and from my hip measurement to my waist measurement. So I am going to cut it out. So after cutting it, I am going to place my back to cut my front. Meanwhile, I folded in 2 inches zipper allowance to my back. So now I am going to be cutting my front with the black. So I adjusted my fabric and placed my back on my front. So I am going to cut it out. After cutting it, I am going to be cutting my lining. I will use the same measurement of my half cut to cut my lining. So this is me sharing the back into 2 because of my zip. So this is me cutting my flare. I folded my fabric into 4. So I'm going to be cutting the upper part of my flare, where I'm going to be connecting to my half cut. So the way I got my own upper part of my flare, I divided my hip by 4. And what I got was what I'm using to cut the upper part of my flare. Just the way I divided my hip by 4 to get my knee. So this is me trying to measure to see if I was able to get up to the 9 inches I wanted. And yes, I got it. So now I'm going to be cutting or marking out the length of my flare. Now, the length of my skirt is 44 inches. And then I minused 18 inches for my half cut. And what I will be cutting for my flare is going to be 26 inches. Because 26 inches or 26 plus 18 is going to give me 44 inches. So this is how I'm going to be chalking or marking my flare. I'm going to shift, then I'll shift the down part, I'll mark it. I'll go again. I'll continue the process till I get to this part. Meanwhile, this flare will not give me my 26 inches all round, meaning I am going to be adding to this part of my flare. So this is me trying to arrange the pieces I will be adding to get the full length of my flay. So you can see me checking it, and I was able to get it. So I'm going to take it to my machine. I will join it, then bring it back to my table to chalk it again. So this is me trying to chalk it again to make sure that I was able to get a round equal flay. So I'm going to be trimming out the excess after marking it. So this is my flay, guys. This is a perfect round flay. You can see my circle flay, equal circle flay. This is 26 inches all round. So now I am going to be taking the dart on my skirt. So this is my half cut after the lining. And from my mid part or my midpoint to get my dart, I folded 4.5 inches. So you can see the iron line. I got 4.5 inches. So from 4.5 inches, I'm going to be taking it down by 4 inches. This is for the front. And then this is the back. So you can see my zipper allowance that I folded in. So after sewing, I got 1.5 inches, which is good. So I'm still going to be using 4 inches for my dart. Yes, this is how I'm going to be taking my back dart or even the front dart. This is how I'm going to be sewing it in a slanting form. So after marking out where I will be taking my dart, so I am going to be marking where my zip will stop. So I minus my 2 inches for my band. I got 8 inches. So from that 8 inches, I am going to close it down, meaning the length of my zip is going to be 8 inches. So after closing it, I am going to fix my band, my 2 inches band, and then fix my zip, shape my skirt, and this is the final finishing of my skirt. Thank you guys for watching, and please, I will be making another video on how to make the top. Thank you all. Bye bye.